We will pick up where he left off on last night. 1 Kings chapter 17. 1 Kings chapter 17. And I want to begin reading at verse 17. And it came to pass after these things that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick. Amen. And his sickness was so sore that there was no breath left in him. And she said unto Elijah, What have I to do with thee, O thou man of God? Are you come here to call my sin to remembrance and to slay my son? And he said unto her, Give me thy son. And he took him out of her bosom and carried him up into a loft where he abode, and laid him upon his bed. And he cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, hast thou brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourn, by slaying her son? And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times, and cried unto the Lord, and said, O Lord my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again. And the Lord heard the voice of Elijah. And the soul of the child came unto him again, and he revived. And Elijah took the child and brought him down out of the chamber into the house, and delivered him unto his mother. And Elijah said, See, thy son liveth. And the woman said to Elijah, Now by this I know that thou art a man of God, and that the word in thy mouth is true. I have talked about for a few minutes, not this, not now.
Not this, not now.
Years ago in Montana, a lady and her baby was riding a stagecoach in western Montana. The weather was bad and bitter and was cold. And in spite of all the driver could do to help protect her, she was becoming unconscious from the cold. So he devised a plan to stop the coach. He took the baby, wrapped it warm, and put it under the seat. Then he grabbed the mother by the arm and dragged her off the stagecoach and onto the ground, and he suddenly drove away, leaving this mother behind. The baby's under the seat. He's racing up the road, and as he was driving away, she ran after him with the little strength that she had left. She was crying, My baby, my baby. When he felt that she was warm from running, he slowed down and allowed her to catch up, and resumed her place back in the stagecoach foundation. And before she went off on him, she realized that what he was doing, he was allowing her to revive herself by exerting herself, which is what she thought was going to be her demise and destruction. He was using it as an avenue for her deliverance. Somebody here knew that, to where it seems that life is cold and bitter, but God allows you to race and run after Him. And what you thought you were going to lose actually turned out to be in your favor. I want to preach to you tonight because it seems that when we look at this woman, she was a follower of Veal. And you will understand that at the time of our text, it seems that Veal failed. And I don't know about you, I don't need a God that'll lead me.
All right.
But the question of the hour is, have you ever had a not now, not this moment? At any other time, I probably would have had the strength to deal with this dilemma, but just not now. And it seems that the moment I need a break, it seems that that's when all hell breaks loose. I've been there because, brothers and sisters, it seems that before this prophet appeared to this woman, you remember the story, she and her son, they were going to die together for salvation. Elijah shows up because the master sends him as a messenger to inform them that they were going to survive the starvation. And she was saying in her mind, at least we want to die together and nobody will be left to live the pain from who's gone. It is in this famine, brothers and sisters, that there was the miracle of food for Elijah, but for this widow woman, she needs a miracle in her family. It seems that she forwards to the future and she's struck again by the now. She keeps losing the men in her life. She keeps on losing what's precious to her. And so the text shows us contextually that the text is really about a battleground that where God was versing Veal. Veal was the fertility god, but the land wasn't fertile. But God decided that he was going to shut up heaven's water department for 3 years and 6 months. Veal was a lightning god, but there was no lightning in the bosom of the sky. You remember Veal was supposed to provide for the land, but the land was not fertile. But anyway, you will understand that due to the sins of unrepentant Israel, Elijah prayed and God heard his prayer. And I think I will tell you that though the land was dry, it was in a drought, the people were desperate, and you remember God decides that I'm going to hide my prophet by the brook Cherith. Now, verse 7, you will understand that Cherith literally means in the Hebrew, it means cutting place. And when God's going to bless you, sometimes he has to put you in a cutting place.
Come on.
Sometimes he has to cut you off from everybody.
Yeah.
And maybe your problem is you've been constantly pasting people back in your life that God has been cutting out.
Yeah.
I can give it back to you. I said he'll put you in a cutting place. Is there anybody here feel like God has been cutting from so long? He's been putting you out of the step, but can I suggest to you that when you get to the cutting place, you'll get confirmation until you get isolation. There's some things that God's going to say to you in private that he won't say to you around your partners, your promises, or in love.
Yeah.
So somebody ought to take 30 seconds to thank God that you're in a place where you're by yourself, because now you can finally hear from God. You remember he set up the raven bird, he said the brook. God changed the nature of a bird that wouldn't even take care of his own young that falls on the dead to turn around and feed the prophet. Then his brook dries up as we heard last night, and then God assigns him to go to this widow woman's house, and he was going to be sustained there through subtraction. And now remember, when he gets here to this house, this woman's declaration is, this is our last meal, we're in our last minutes, we're getting ready to eat and die. But the prophet says, no baby, you're not going to eat and die, you need to give and live. And I think I want to tell somebody here today, that every now and then when it looks like you're in a disastrous moment, you're not going to eat and die. God says you need to give and live. Because sometimes you need to learn how to give your way out of this season that you're in. And you're saying, well, brother, I hear what you're saying, but God won't take my last. That's a lie from the devil. He'll take your last if he intends to make your last last. And I think I got about 50 of you in here that have had more.
Yeah.
I think I got about 65 of you here that had some needs, that if God didn't step in and supply that need, you would be evicted from your home.
Yeah.
Your lights would have been off, your gas would have been off. You didn't have the money, but you had the master, and he allowed you to survive the short. And you touch somebody beside you and say, I know about short. And you need to learn how to give your way out. Then when he moves from Cherith, the text says he moves it from a cutting place to Zarephath. And Zarephath in the Hebrew means the place of refinery. And God told me to tell you that when he's doing a work in your life, after he cuts you off, it is then he starts processing you. And somebody here, that's what you are tonight. God has been processing you. He's not punishing you, but he's getting you ready for the next dimension. He's getting you ready for the next blessing. He's getting you ready for the next miracle. that's more devastating advances or surfaces in your life. And so here it is. I said all of that just to bring you to this point. That's the whole sermon. Now I'll give you 3 movements of the text, and then I'll take my seat for the man and I'll say good night. Here it is. You see, when you are having a not now, not this moment, the first thing you will suggest to me tonight in verses 17 and 18 is that it's an inauspicious problem. Inauspicious literally means untimely. Because look at the text. I don't know if you've already grasped this between last night and tonight. It says, and it came to pass after these things that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick, and the sickness was so sore that there was no breath left in him. Then she turned to Elijah and said, what have I to do with you? Are you a man of God that you would come here to my house and call my sins to my remembrance and then turn around and slay my son? You see, we have to be sympathetic with this woman because this woman said, I have an inauspicious problem. In fact, because I just went from misery to miracles, and now I'm back at miracles to misery. You have. She's suggesting that, listen, I just saw God bless my barrel. Every time I put my hand in, God put his hand on. You still don't have it. That was going to be a blessing for my family, but the land was still going to be under restriction. There was a restriction for the land, but there's a run over in my house. She's saying, listen, I'm watching God. I trusted the man of God, and all of a sudden, when I move from my miserable state and get to miracle status, all of a sudden the carpet has been pulled from under me, and now my son gets sick, and then he turns around and dies. I don't know how you feel about it, but brothers and sisters, that's a not now, not this moment in here. Yeah. It's stuck with you tonight. Because some of you in here, you've had some days like that, because you had a miracle on Monday, but got hell on Wednesday.
Yeah.
You had some moments like that, where you had blessings, and then you were at the bottom of your barrel. You had moments like that, where you saw your loved one heal, and they were seriously die. You had moments like that, where you were shouting that God is good, but then you turn around and you're sad that God didn't make a way. You had moments like that, where you've been healed, and then you turn around and find yourself empty. You had moments like that, where you were celebrating, and then you turn around and had to cry the rest of the week. You had moments like that, where you were good, and then you turn around and find yourself finding people dead. You had moments like that, where you had some money left, and then you had moments where you didn't have a dime to your name. You had moments where you looked like you were blessed, but then the older brothers you had to fake it until you made it. You say anybody has had a problem like that, where God made a way, and then all of a sudden, while you're shouting on the mountain, you find yourself. I'm looking for about 20 more in here, to be honest. That will suggest that I've had moments in my life where I saw the hand of God, and then all of a sudden his hand was seriously active in my life. I've had moments where the hell that I'm catching just don't make sense. I'm talking, you grab somebody and say, he's preaching my life, because I've had moments in my life where I just didn't understand, Lord, not this. Well, it was an auspicious problem with number 1, verse 17, because it was least expected. This is the last thing that's on her mind. Because she's been promised that they were going to live. That's right. And now all of a sudden the text says he was sick, which in Hebrew means to become weak or diseased. Then he transitioned from being sick to sore. That literally means severe. He was violent. And then he transitioned to watch it. He died.